Welcome back to the deep dive. If you've ever found yourself just scrolling through these stunning photos of, say, emeralds, or maybe the latest lab-grown diamonds, and you start dreaming of turning that passion, that deep gemstone-loving hobby into something real, a profitable, self-directed business.
Something that gives you control.
Exactly. Control over your life. Then this deep dive is absolutely for you. And we're not just talking about, a temporary side hustle.
No, not at all.
We are talking about engineering a sustainable, lifestyle-driven business that's built on real expertise.
And that word, engineer, that's the perfect word for it. Moving from just being a hobbyist to being the engineer of your own career. That is precisely our focus today.
So what's the mission?
Our mission is, well, it's pretty clear. We're pulling apart the blueprint for what we're calling the jewellery, and we have a fantastic set of sources here, all centered around the journey of Julia, the founder of the Gem Academy.
A great case study.
A perfect case study. Her career transition is, it's robust. We can track her whole evolution from being an industry expert working inside these big established institutions to becoming a successful solo entrepreneur, an educator, and, well, ultimately a global authority.
And our sources, they get into the nitty-gritty. They're not just fluff. They give us specific, actionable strategies on really everything that matters.
Everything.
Building a network that actually supports you, the dynamics of scaling strategically, finding that perfect, high-value niche, and this is the big one.
The one everyone faces.
How to conquer the universal startup killer, which is just that sheer, paralyzing overwhelm.
And the big promise here is, I think, so important for anyone who wants that self-directed career. The path from hobbyist to pro, it's almost never about random luck.
Right. It's not a lottery ticket.
Not at all. Or some kind of sudden viral success. It's about leveraging what you already have, these sometimes overlooked assets. Your deep industry knowledge, your past professional experience, and, your ability to really focus.
A critical focus strategy.
Exactly. And we're going to unpack exactly how that combination becomes the secret weapon for sustained long-term growth. It's the foundation for the career freedom you're actually looking for in the jewelry and gemstone world.
Okay, so let's unpack this crucial first step, the launch pad.
The very beginning.
Yeah. When we read these success stories, there's always this narrative, right? It's appealing, but it can be really misleading. This idea of the entrepreneur just getting lucky with their first big sales or finding that key partner.
The overnight success myth.
Totally. And Julia, the founder we're studying, she even sort of admitted to this feeling. She said she felt incredibly lucky to have an existing network when she launched the Gem Academy.
And this is where we have to step in and really reframe that word, luck. The sources are crystal clear on this, that so-called luck is, in reality,
something else entirely.
It's years of showing up and building genuine, trust-based relationships. It's the cumulative interest you earn on years of just investing your time and effort into your professional world.
So we need to help you, the listener, shift your mindset. It's not about passively waiting for some lucky break.
No, it's about actively recognizing that your first sales, they're simply the return on investment from your pre-existing social capital.
I like that, social capital. Yeah. It's like it functions as your working capital at the start.
That's a great way to put it. Your first clients, your first students, those first big consulting gigs, they don't usually come from some expensive, cold call marketing campaign.
Where do they come from then?
They come from people who already trust you, people who know your work ethic, who can vouch for your expertise. This is such a critical, actionable takeaway for anyone listening who's thinking about making that leap.
Because you might feel like you're starting from absolute zero.
From scratch, yeah. But the sources are reminding us that your true launchpad, it's your existing contacts. And it doesn't matter if they're in the gem world or not.
Okay, so let's get tangible with that.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about specifically?
We need to define them. We're talking about former colleagues from any previous job. I don't care if you were in sales or logistics or, administration.
Right.
We're talking about industry friends you've made at trade shows or symposiums, maybe even classes you took. And then, of course, the supportive family and friends who've watched your passion grow and they actually believe in your skills.
So the advice is really direct then. It's proactive. Stop overlooking these people just because they aren't, official business contacts yet.
Exactly. They are your early adopters. They're your first sales force, and they are your best source of those critical, trusted testimonials that you need right at the beginning. The sources basically instruct you to start nurturing these connections now.
long before the website is even live.
Long before. It's about planting the seeds of your credibility so that when you finally do open the doors, those connections are already warmed up. They're ready to become your first paying customers.
Okay, but what does nurturing actually look like in practice for a gempreneur? I mean, it's not just sending out a mass email that says, hey, I'm starting a business, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It's targeted. It's genuine. For example, let's say you know a former colleague who now runs a small jewelry boutique.
Yeah.
You could offer them an informal, maybe 20-minute chat on a topic you're really strong in. Let's say the new challenges in gold assaying or the latest trends in responsibly sourced sapphires.
You're not selling them anything yet.
Not a thing. You're not selling a product. You're selling confidence. You're demonstrating your expertise through generosity. That one interaction builds an incredible amount of trust.
And trust is the foundation.
It is the foundation for the kind of high-value transactions you need to build a sustainable lifestyle business.
That makes so much sense. And it leads us perfectly into the second element of Julia's launch, which is maybe even more powerful, what our sources call the credibility rocket fuel.
Yes, this is so important.
It wasn't just who she knew. It was the weight and the authority of what she had already done.
Indeed. I mean, her time at the Gemological Association of Great Britain, GEMA, that wasn't just a line on her resume.
No.
It was the foundation of instant, globally recognized authority. For anyone who isn't familiar, GEMA is one of the world's most respected institutions for gemology.
So think about the power dynamic that creates from day one.
It's immense.
Yeah.
You're launching an academy when you've already spent years teaching for and working within this highly respected global institution. You've literally contributed to the body of knowledge.
It creates this massive barrier to entry for any potential competitors. I mean, it's the difference between a new enthusiast saying, trust me, I've read a lot of industry journals.
Right.
And Julie basically being able to say, I literally helped write the current curriculum, and now I'm offering specialized proprietary knowledge that complements it.
And the sources really highlight this power of visibility. They note that being visible through activities like teaching and appearing on those GEMA webinars, it instantly granted the GEM Academy authority and trust.
From day one.
Right from the very start. She didn't have to spend years earning that trust. She essentially borrowed it from her previous established position.
Okay, so this is a critical point for you, our listener. This raises a really important question. How do you audit your own history to find your own rocket fuel?
A personal audit. I love that.
Yeah, because maybe you didn't work at GEMA.
Right, most people haven't. But maybe you spent 10 years in logistical supply chain management for another high-value product.
Like what? Fine art, maybe?
Perfect example. Fine art, luxury watches, whatever. That means you can now specialize your business in gemstone logistics, insurance, and valuations, which is a massive pain point for small retailers.
Okay, or what if your background is totally different? Say you have a deep background in technical drawing and CAD design.
Then you have a unique service offering for custom jewelers who need precision work. The point is, you have to use your past roles and your past expertise to build that trust. Let your proven reputation do the heavy lifting.
So you don't have to start every single sales conversation by proving you know what you're talking about.
Exactly. You use the past to build the future you want, a future where your schedule and your income are self-directed.
I love that phrase, credibility rocket fuel.
Yeah.
It really suggests that your launch velocity is determined by the experience you built up before you even hit the launch button.
That's it.
But credibility, as valuable as it has to translate into actual sustainable cash flow.
Right.
It has to pay the bills.
Which brings us to a topic where so many passion-led businesses just stumble so badly. Pricing.
And this is where Julia demonstrates, truly exceptional strategic thinking. Her courses are priced at a premium. They are not cheap.
And that's intentional? It is a very deliberate choice. The sources emphasize this. She connects her proven credibility, which is validated by her institutional background, directly to the profit margin she needs for a truly sustainable business.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here. Doesn't charging these kinds of high rates potentially exclude the really dedicated hobbyist who's just looking to upskill? Is she sacrificing volume for prestige?
That's a fair question.
It seems like a risky strategy for a new founder, especially someone trying to build a lifestyle where they control their time. I mean, volume can provide stability, too.
It's a very legitimate challenge, and the sources actually address it head-on by explaining who her target audience is.
And it's not the hobbyist.
It's not. Julia is, in fact, sacrificing the volume of the casual learner for the prestige and, more importantly, the budget of the professional client. The retailer, the auction house, the trade buyer.
Okay, so this is B2B, not B2C.
Essentially, yes. Think about it. If you price your course based on what you think a hobbyist will pay for 2 hours of fun on a Saturday, you will fail to build a sustainable career.
You'll burn out.
You'll burn out. Julia prices confidently because she has measured the real return on investment, the ROI, that her training delivers specifically to the professional sector.
So she's not just thinking about imparting knowledge. She's thinking in terms of, avoiding professional liabilities.
Exactly. For her professional clients, her training isn't an elective course. It's risk mitigation.
Okay, explain that.
It means saving a company real money through improved detection skills. For example, correctly identifying a complex new treatment or a very convincing synthetic stone. Or it means boosting their profitability through better, more specialized knowledge of new materials that are entering the market.
So she isn't selling an hour of her time.
No. She's selling results. She's selling the confidence and the clarity that a professional needs to avoid a 5-figure or even 6-figure costly mistake in acquisition or appraisal. I mean, the value of preventing a single misidentification of a major stone, that often outweighs the cost of her entire course.
That distinction is a massive paradigm shift. Selling risk mitigation and professional confidence, not just content.
It's everything. It's the trap of underselling expertise, and it is so destructive to a sustainable, self-directed business model. If you are teaching a professional how to correctly identify a challenging new stone, like a difficult Type 2 diamond, a topic we'll get into, and that knowledge prevents one costly error.
That value is enormous.
It's enormous, and it has to be reflected in the price. The expert analysis in our sources is clear. You must price your offerings to reflect the value, the impact, and the results you provide to your client's bottom line.
So sustainability isn't just about scraping by month to month.
No, it's about confidently charging what the results are worth. This ensures you can invest back into your platform, you can refine your specialized offerings, and crucially, you avoid the burnout that comes from constant, underpaid, high-effort work.
That reframing pricing for measurable impact and professional risk reduction, not just for your time, that is an absolute game changer for anyone trying to turn a specialized passion into a viable long-term career.
So, moving into the second phase of this blueprint, we have to look at how to manage growth strategically.
Right.
Because most new entrepreneurs, they think they have to launch with some massive, fully funded, perfect plan.
Which is terrifying.
It's terrifying, and it's wrong. Julia's journey highlights a far less intimidating and, frankly, far more effective mantra: start small, test, then scale.
Which is so incredibly comforting for the aspiring entrepreneur listening right now, who might be trying to launch this while still holding down a full-time job.
Exactly.
She didn't just leap straight into a full academy with, dozens of courses and a huge staff. The sources tell us her path was deliberately iterative.
Iterative, that's the key word.
She piloted ideas using simple, accessible formats like webinars. And she specifically honed her content during that initial lockdown period when the demand for remote learning just exploded.
A perfect example of spotting an opportunity.
It's an essential lesson in risk management and resource allocation.
Well, and the benefit of starting small is multifaceted. First, it obviously helped her validate her market assumptions. She could refine her offering based on real-time feedback from actual paying customers.
So she learned what the market's pain points really were.
She learned exactly what they needed solved and, just as importantly, how they wanted that solution delivered. And second, and this is equally important, it allowed her to build momentum without succumbing to that immediate, crushing overwhelm. A topic we're definitely going to dive into next.
Oh, yeah.
Launching a single, targeted, high-value webinar is always easier and safer than launching a full-scale, comprehensive business that needs infrastructure and complex content management systems and a massive marketing budget.
So the actionable advice here is super practical. Don't spend 6 months building some complex, perfect structure.
Please don't.
Use accessible formats, low-cost workshops, targeted webinars, maybe short mini-courses. Just pilot your ideas and test the appetite of the market.
It's like, don't build the entire airplane before you know if the wings work.
And if the passengers even want to go where you're flying.
Exactly. The critical instruction from our sources is to master one thing before expanding. That narrow focus prevents you from draining your resources and hitting that premature burnout wall.
Which brings us to what is arguably the most powerful strategic move Julia made, the absolute heart of her success,
Her specialization.
her specialization. While she had this vast institutional gemological knowledge, focusing so intently on the lab-grown diamond, the LGD niche, that became the cornerstone of her brand authority and her profitability.
And this shift wasn't a fluke. It was, as the sources call it, a happy accident that she turned into a brilliant strategic move.
So she wasn't just generally passionate about LGDs.
No, she spotted a fundamental, complex market gap that her specific, high-level skill set was uniquely positioned to fill at that exact moment in time.
Okay, we need to spend some real time here. Because this is the difference between being a generalist who's constantly struggling for market share
And becoming the definitive, globally recognized go-to expert. We need to look closely at these shifting tides that made the LGD market so ripe for specialization, specifically in the early 2020s.
This is where the technical details become the strategic insight.
Precisely. The sources note this incredible, rapid pace of change. New technologies, shifts in production methods, evolving detection techniques. LGDs were, and they still are, an exponentially fast-moving, complex field that demanded continuous, immediate education.
And that pace of change.
Right.
That's the key.
It's the key differentiator. So, traditionally, LGDs are produced primarily through two complex methods, high pressure, high temperature, or HPHT,
All right.
and chemical vapor deposition, or CVD. But what happened in the early 2020s was that the quality, the size, and the efficiency of these processes just skyrocketed. And at the same time, the post-growth treatments they were using became increasingly sophisticated.
And they were designed specifically to mimic natural diamonds.
To mimic them perfectly. And this rapid evolution, it created a massive failure point for the large established institutions.
How so?
Well, traditional large-scale educational courses, they have these slow-moving, bureaucratic curriculum update cycles. They struggled profoundly to keep pace with this fast-moving technology.
They just couldn't move fast enough.
They couldn't update their physical curriculum, their laboratory exercises, their detection protocols, not fast enough to address the absolute latest challenges in identification, especially for those stones that were designed to evade standard testing.
And this created a confidence crisis.
A huge confidence crisis among working professionals, retailers, appraisers, buyers, who suddenly felt like they could no longer trust their existing knowledge or even their standard equipment.
So if a course took, say, 2 years to develop and publish,
It was already obsolete the day it hit the market, because the speed of innovation in LGD production was just that fast.
can you give us an example?
Sure. The growing sophistication of the CVD method, for instance. It can produce these type Cia diamonds. Those are stones that lack the nitrogen that allows for easy detection. This meant that older spectroscopic analysis techniques were suddenly insufficient. Professionals needed immediate practical training on the newest detection methods, often involving things like specific filtering or using more advanced instrumentation. They needed it now, not in 2 years.
Enter Julia and the Gem Academy.
Exactly. Her solution wasn't to offer some broad 2-year diploma. She offered nimble, highly specialized, up-to-the-minute education.
And she targeted professionals who desperately needed confidence, clarity, and practical application in a field that was literally changing every few months.
She was selling competence in the face of chaos. And this perfectly demonstrates the power of the complementing, not competing strategy.
Okay, explain that.
Julia didn't try to challenge the core authority of institutions like GEMA or the GIA. She was smart. She chose instead to complement them.
By providing the specialized, immediately relevant, and constantly updated knowledge that the larger, slower bodies just couldn't provide quickly enough.
Exactly. And this is a crucial transferable lesson for any specialized entrepreneur listening. You don't have to conquer the giants. You just need to find the specific, fast-moving area where they are too slow to adapt.
And that speed becomes your key competitive advantage.
It becomes your advantage and, really, the source of your freedom.
I can just imagine how liberating that specialization must have been for her business model. Because for so many aspiring gempreneurs, the fear of narrowing your focus,
It can feel so limiting.
it feels terrifying.
Do you think, if I only focus on LGD detection, I'll miss out on the lucrative ruby and sapphire market?
And that fear of limiting yourself is the exact counterintuitive lesson that Julia's success challenges. Her journey proves the opposite is true. Specialization is incredibly empowering
Why?
because it allows you to stop being a general practitioner and become the single go-to expert for a high-value problem. When a major retailer or a large diamond company needs proprietary training on the absolute cutting edge of LGD detection, They don't call a generalist.
They call the Gem Academy. They call her. And this immediately attracts a dedicated professional clientele that is seeking that precise knowledge. It completely cuts through the noise of the crowded general gem market.
And crucially, I imagine it reduces her marketing costs drastically because her reputation precedes her. She is known for that one thing.
Implicitly.
So, if someone is listening right now and they're feeling unsure about where to draw the boundaries of their own niche, what tools can help them find that clarity?
Well, the sources mention a proprietary framework that Julia actually developed for targeted guidance, which gives us a fantastic, structured way for you to think about this. It's called the GMS method.
A GMS method.
But
Okay.
this framework is basically the bridge between your passion and your execution.
All right, let's take the time to break this down. Let's break down the acronym because it sounds like it provides 4 really useful interlinked pillars for clarifying a specialty and building a durable business.
Absolutely. So the G stands for gemstone focus. This is all about finding clarity on that specific, often narrow area that you are going to dominate, just like Julia did with LGDs.
But how do you find that focus?
You have to ask yourself some hard questions. What specific subcategory is causing the most professional anxiety right now? Is it ethical sourcing and colored diamonds? Is it antique jewelry provenance validation? Is it, I don't know, the use of drone technology in mine security?
So it has to be specific.
It has to be specific and it must be tied to a real professional pain point. The G is about identifying the specific market need that intersects with your specific expertise.
Okay, that makes sense. So that's G. What's E?
E is for entrepreneurship skills. And this is the hard truth. Passion alone is not enough. You have to actively build the business and marketing skills you need to sustain the venture.
This goes way beyond gemology.
Oh yeah, this is the gritty reality of being self-employed. Do you understand international customs regulations for shipping high-value items? Do you know how to build a scalable digital education platform? Have you mastered basic financial forecasting? The E is the recognition that technical brilliance requires business acumen to survive.
The best gem expert in the world will fail if they can't manage their cash flow.
Or handle their international logistics. It's that simple.
Okay, what about the M?
The M is for mastery. This means achieving that deep, current, and constantly updated expertise in your chosen area. It means becoming truly indispensable.
So it's not a one-and-done thing.
No. Julie understood that in the LGD niche, mastery wasn't a certificate you earned once. It was a commitment to continuous high-speed learning. Mastery means you're not just proficient, you are the one setting the standard. And this is what justifies that premium pricing we talked about earlier.
It solidifies your credibility rocket fuel.
Perfectly put.
And finally, the S. That must be success.
It is, but Julia frames it not as some random aspiration, but as the natural and inevitable consequence of diligently achieving the first 3 elements.
So it's a formula.
It is a formula. This method is a powerful reminder that business success in this specialized field is not random. It's the result of targeted focus, G, combined with the necessary commercial skills, E, leading to deep, recognized expertise.
So it moves the whole conversation from just some vague aspiration
To a concrete, repeatable, actionable set of steps designed to deliver a specific self-directed lifestyle. It connects right back to our core thesis. Turning passion into sustainable profit requires a deliberate, narrow strategy. And defining that niche with rigor, that is the single most powerful strategic decision you will ever make.
Okay, so we've talked about strategy, credibility, the power of a niche. Now we have to address the inevitable, messy reality of being a solo entrepreneur.
The hard part.
Yeah, if you're going to successfully turn your specialized hobby into a true lifestyle business, you absolutely have to manage the intense mental and physical load that comes with being your own boss.
It is the universal challenge. And it's what sinks so many ventures that were otherwise brilliantly conceived. The sources really emphasize that jewelry startup overwhelm is not a personal failing.
That's so important here.
It's universal, and Julia is refreshingly candid about this. She admits she would bet good money that anyone who started their own business has wrestled with the same beast.
The beast being that feeling of having way too much to do and not enough time or hands to do it.
Exactly. And just acknowledging that, that's the critical first step toward managing it. Overwhelm is not a sign of failure or incompetence. It's a normal, predictable part of the journey.
It's when that initial beautiful spark of passion meets the grinding, non-glamorous practicality of running a high-stakes, detail-oriented business.
That's it. And we can actually break down the overwhelm into its core components. The sources identify what they see as the top 3 causes for the solo entrepreneur in this space.
Okay, let's do it. Cause number one.
The endless to-do list.
Of course.
This is the most obvious one, but its complexity is just amplified in the gem world. You are no longer just the person who loves looking at pretty stones.
We're in all the hats.
All of them. You are now the technical content creator, the sourcing agent vetting ethical standards, the marketing director planning for trade shows, the finance manager dealing with fluctuating commodity prices, and the customs compliance officer responsible for international high-value shipments.
Wow.
The sheer volume of tasks, often requiring wildly different skill sets, can feel entirely all-consuming. Because you're doing everything, it often feels like you're doing nothing well enough to justify the immense effort.
And that feeling of constantly switching contexts, it leads directly to number two, which I think is often the most damaging psychologically.
Mental fragmentation.
Yes.
Julia describes this perfectly. She says, your brain pulls you in 100 different directions, and ironically, that can leave you standing completely still.
I have felt that
Yeah.
paralysis.
We all have. When your brain is pulled in too many directions, switching constantly between high-focus tasks like performing spectroscopic analysis or reviewing CAD designs, and then jumping to administrative work like updating QuickBooks or preparing VAT reports, you lose the ability to do deep, effective work on any single task.
There's a cost to that switching.
There's a huge cognitive cost. It's known in psychology as switching costs, and it leaves you feeling exhausted, guilty, and like you've achieved very little measurable progress at the end of the day.
So you're busy all day but get nothing done. And the third cause, this one feels the most insidious, maybe because it's purely psychological. It's often driven by comparing yourself to others.
The fear of falling behind. It's that constant nagging anxiety that you're missing something crucial, a regulatory change, a customer email that slipped through the cracks, or an emerging gemological trend like a new synthetic treatment. This sense of being perpetually behind, always playing catch up.
It just wears you down.
It can really wear you down if you let it, as the sources say. It drains your confidence and the energy you need to actually push the business forward. It turns that initial joyful passion into this paralyzing performance-based pressure.
So the essential counter-strategy here isn't just about working longer hours or trying to find more willpower.
No, you can't hustle your way out of this.
It's about creating a structure that imposes focus and clarity. And the sources give us this brilliant, highly actionable 5-step playbook for creating that focus and combating this mental chaos.
Okay, let's walk through these 5 steps because they provide a concrete way for you, the listener, to start managing your time and energy today. This is what makes that self-directed career truly sustainable.
Step 1. It's the simplest, but maybe the hardest one for a highly passionate, excited entrepreneur to stick to. Do one thing well.
Julia's advice here is beautifully straightforward, and it needs to be internalized. She says, start simply. You absolutely do not have to do everything at once. In fact, you shouldn't. Do one thing well, then another.
It's the ultimate anti-multitasking mantra.
It is. It directly counters that instinct to scatter your effort across 12 different projects, and it ensures you gain the immense psychological satisfaction of completing a meaningful task, not just starting 50 of them. When you're done with that one thing, you put it away and you move on.
Okay, so step 2 builds on that focused effort. Identify your top 3.
Right. At the start of every single day, and this takes discipline, the solo entrepreneur has to ask, what are the 3 most critical tasks that genuinely move my business forward today?
And what defines critical?
Critically, this means tasks that either generate revenue, build core long-term value, or solve an immediate high-stakes professional problem. They are not the loudest tasks, like checking your social media feeds.
Right.
They're the high-impact activities, like finalize the pricing for the new LGD detection course, or contact the 3 new vendors for ethically sourced tanzanite. The goal is to complete these 3 first. That way, even if the rest of your day completely falls apart, you've secured undeniable progress on what truly matters.
That's choosing impact over mere activity. I like that. So step 3 helps create mental clarity on a broader week-long scale. This is essential for fighting that fragmentation. Theme your days.
This is such a powerful technique for reducing those cognitive switching costs. By assigning a specific focus to each day, you create mandatory mental boundaries.
Give me an example.
Okay. Mondays are for marketing content and outreach. Tuesdays are for technical design and production, so content creation, CAD review. Wednesdays are for finance, administration, and compliance QuickBooks, invoicing, customs paperwork.
And that allows for deeper, more focused work.
Because your brain isn't constantly worrying about the tasks for other days, you know you have a dedicated slot for finance coming up on Wednesday, so you can give yourself permission to ignore the invoices while you focus on design on Tuesday.
That intentional ignoring sounds like a massive relief.
It's freedom.
The sources suggest that themed days are a great start, but step 4 is where the real discipline and work ethic kick in. Block out time.
This is moving from a general theme to a non-negotiable scheduled appointment in your calendar. You physically schedule 60 to 90-minute blocks for highly specific tasks.
So not just production.
No, way more specific. You block out 9:00 a.m., 10:30 a.m., final edit and upload of the HPHT detection video, or 11:10 a.m., 12:30 p.m. Follow up on bulk source orders and customs documents. The key, as Julia advises, is treating these scheduled blocks like unmissable appointments, whether it's with a high-paying client or, most importantly, with yourself and your business.
You know, this practice sounds almost rigid and constraining, but I think it actually creates mental freedom to focus.
It does.
If you know you have 2 hours blocked for high-level technical work on Wednesday, you can give yourself permission to completely ignore the financial tasks until Thursday's dedicated block. It's an act of self-trust.
Exactly. Structure provides clarity, and clarity is the most effective weapon against overwhelm. And that brings us to step 5, which is the vital quality control and psychological maintenance check. Review and reset.
So you dedicate 30 minutes at the end of each week, say Friday afternoon, to a formal review of what you accomplished.
And equally important, what was learned. And this review is fundamentally not about judgment or self-criticism over missed targets.
That's key. No beating yourself up.
None. It is strictly about acknowledging tangible progress and adjusting the plan for the next week based on reality. As Julia advises, the mantra has to be focus, breathe, and accept that your version of enough will keep evolving.
Yeah.
This regular, non-judgmental check-in builds momentum, it reduces guilt, and it provides the long-term psychological resilience that is essential for surviving and thriving as a solo business owner. It allows you to sustain the passion without the pressure of perfection.
So, if we pull all of this together, this structured approach, what does it ultimately mean for the aspiring gempreneur? The mantras of progress that Julia offers, they seem to summarize the entire approach to sustainable entrepreneurship.
They really do. It just reinforces that the core message of building a lifestyle business is about sustained action. Even if that action feels like one small, slightly chaotic step at a time.
Passion is the spark.
Passion is the beautiful spark that gets you started and defines your niche, absolutely. But consistency, that structured, daily, focused effort, that's the mechanical engine that turns into something real, profitable, and sustainable. The goal is sustained action, which is the only fuel that keeps the gem business running, allowing you to live life on your own terms, completely fueled by your passion.
Wow. We have journeyed from that initial spark of passion all the way to the structured reality of running a successful, profitable gem business.
So let's quickly recap the critical components of this Gempreneur blueprint that we've drawn directly from Julia's experience with the Gem Academy.
Okay. We saw that this kind of career-defining success, it starts with trust-based networking. Recognizing that your critical first sales and credibility come directly from your existing professional contacts.
And you have to combine that immediately with leveraging past experience. Yes. Whether it's gemological or something totally tangential, using your professional background as that rocket fuel to accelerate your launch. Then, strategically, you have to start small and test ideas iteratively.
Using low-cost pilots instead of attempting some massive, all-consuming launch.
Exactly.
And most importantly, I think, we learned the profound power of strategic specialization. I mean, Julia's narrow focus on a fast-moving field like lab-grown diamonds is the perfect example.
It is. And that allowed her to successfully complement, rather than compete with, the established institutions. She offered knowledge that was simply too fast for the giants to capture. And then finally, the operational necessity of consistent, structured action against overwhelm.
Using those techniques like daily top 3 lists and theme days to maintain focus, and honestly, your personal sanity.
And if you need any proof of the ultimate powerful payoff of this focused entrepreneurial approach, this idea that building your own business isn't a detour but an accelerator, the sources provide a powerful, inspiring footnote on Julia's long-term career trajectory.
Okay, this is where the narrative of passion into profit gets even more compelling. It just proves the value of self-directed mastery.
It really does.
The specific, intense experience she gained from building her own highly successful specialized education business, the Gem Academy. That was a key factor, maybe the key factor. And her securing the prestigious role of head of education at the Swiss Gemological Institute, the SF, in Switzerland.
Which is an immense professional pinnacle. The SFS is one of the premier global labs. They specialize in authenticating high-value gems, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, you name it.
So building her own thing didn't close doors.
It blew them wide open. This appointment demonstrates the profound career-enhancing power of entrepreneurship and subject mastery. Building and running her own niche academy didn't limit her future career options. Instead, it validated her expertise, it showcased her strategic mind, it demonstrated her ability to lead and adapt quickly.
It made her an indispensable, tested asset.
To one of the most respected high-stakes organizations in the entire world.
That is the ultimate return on investment. It's not just financial freedom. It's complete professional validation and the ability to choose your own path. So for you, the learner, the aspiring gempreneur, don't wait for perfect conditions.
Yes, don't.
Don't wait until you have a flawless, high-budget website or every single certification you think you might need. Start small. Leverage the network and the expertise you already possess, and begin building that focused credibility today. Your gem business success story, your journey to self-directed work, it starts with one brave, focused step.
And here is the provocative thought for you to carry forward, building on that profound strategic move Julia made with LGDs.
Okay.
The sources clearly show the importance of adapting to new market needs, those shifting tides, because that is where the speed of a small business can outpace the slowness of large institutions. Julia's success came from spotting an educational gap created by rapid technological change.
So the question is, what specific shifting tide in the current gemstone market represents the next high-value niche for a specialized business that needs a nimble expert?
Is it the rapidly growing transparent demand for complex sustainability demands and verifiable ethical sourcing, especially in certain colored stone supply chains?
That's a huge one.
Or is it the urgent industry need for training in digital authentication methods and blockchain-based provenance tracking as more and more trade moves online?
Or maybe something even more technical.
Perhaps. Maybe it's the highly specific skill of evaluating colored gemstone treatments using cutting-edge, non-destructive spectroscopy methods. The point is, identify that fast-moving, underserved area that creates professional anxiety.
And then, critically, you have to ask yourself,
what unique, specific expertise do you already possess? Whether it's IT skills, logistical expertise, a deep background in compliance, or a specific geographic sourcing connection. What could you use as the credibility rocket fuel to launch you into that emerging niche and deliver massive professional value?
find your niche and then find your fuel.
That's the blueprint for self-directed success.
Thank you for supplying us with this fascinating and incredibly detailed source material for this deep dive into the world of the gempreneur.
And we really hope you take that first, brave, focused step today toward creating the lifestyle business you envision.
Until the next deep dive, keep learning and keep building.